No, he didn't make it? This can't be happening. Why? Oh God, why? He's gone forever.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I should have told you. I love you, don't go.
Pressure does not arrive loudly at first. It whispers. It slips into conversations. It hides inside jokes. It disguises itself as advice. And before long, it becomes expectation. For Amara, it began subtly, but it did not stay that way. The women around her had become a constant presence. What used to be occasional conversations turned into daily exchanges. Calls in the morning, messages throughout the day, long evening discussions that stretched late into the night. Their voices became familiar, then influential, then authoritative. Have you talked to him? You need to pressure him. Men don't change unless you push them. Don't be too soft. That's why he's comfortable. First, Amara used to laugh it off. She would defend Daniel. He's trying. He's not lazy. He's just building slowly. But slowly, even her own words began to sound weak to her ears, because every time she spoke, they countered her. With examples, with stories, with comparisons. Look at Chioma's husband. New car this year. Did you see Blessing's vacation pictures? Dubai. Meanwhile, you're still managing. Managing. That word began to sting. It planted something dangerous inside her. A quiet dissatisfaction that grew roots deep within her thoughts. And once dissatisfaction takes root, peace rarely survives. Days passed, then weeks, and the conversations didn't stop. If anything, they intensified. Now, it wasn't just advice, it was strategy. You need to set standards. Start demanding things. Men respect pressure. If you don't push him, someone else will enjoy the results later. That last statement lingered in Amara's mind longer than the rest. Someone else. Enjoy the results. The idea unsettled her. Was she building a man for another woman? Was she being too patient? Too understanding? Too easy? The more she thought about it, the more her perspective shifted. She began to reevaluate everything. Daniel's kindness? Now it looked like weakness. His patience? Now it felt like complacency. His steady efforts? Now they seemed like excuses. And once perception changes, reality begins to bend around it. At home, the atmosphere started to change. Not suddenly, but noticeably. The warmth that once filled their small home began to fade. Conversations became shorter. Silences became longer. And when Amara spoke, there was now an edge to her voice. Sharp, cold, unforgiving. One evening, Daniel returned home exhausted. His shirt clung to his back, damp with sweat. His shoulders sagged under the invisible weight of responsibility. But when he walked through the door, he still managed to smile. Amara, I'm home. She barely looked up from her phone. We need to talk. Those 4 words. Heavy, loaded, dangerous. Daniel paused. Something in her tone made his chest tighten. What is it? Amara stood slowly, crossing her arms. Daniel, when are you going to upgrade our life? The question hung in the air like a storm cloud. Daniel frowned slightly. Upgrade. How? Amara laughed. Not a soft laugh. A sharp, dismissive one. Don't act like you don't understand. Look around, Daniel. Look at how we're living. Daniel glanced around the room. The house was small, yes. Simple, but clean, peaceful. It was a home he had worked tirelessly to provide. I'm working on things step by step, he replied calmly. Step by step? She scoffed. Other men are running. You're crawling. The words hit him harder than he expected. Daniel took a deep breath. Please don't compare me to others. Why not? She snapped. Should I compare you to failure instead? Silence. Thick, heavy, painful. The words cut deep, deeper than she realized. Because Daniel was not a man who feared hard work, but he feared being seen as inadequate. And in that moment, that's exactly how he felt. Still, he said nothing. He believed patience would fix things. He was wrong. Pressure does not just affect actions. It changes identity. And slowly, Daniel began to feel like a man he did not recognize. He started questioning himself. Am I not doing enough? Am I too slow? Am I failing her? These questions followed him everywhere. To work, to sleep, even into his dreams. He began working longer hours, taking extra shifts, accepting more responsibility. Not because he wanted more, but because he wanted to prove something. To her, to himself. But pressure has a cruel nature. The more you give into it, the more it demands. Amara, on the other hand, was changing in ways she didn't fully notice. She had begun measuring her life through comparison. Every scroll on social media became evidence. Every conversation became a reminder. Every success story from others became a personal failure in her mind. She no longer saw what she had, only what she didn't. And that kind of mindset is never satisfied. One afternoon, she met her friends again. This time at a cafe more expensive than any place Daniel had ever taken her. As she sat there, sipping a drink she didn't even enjoy, she listened. You need to stop accepting less. If he really loves you, he'll do more. Men always have money. It's just about priority. Amara nodded slowly. Sometimes I feel like he's just too comfortable, she admitted. Exactly, one of them exclaimed. You've made it too easy for him. Another leaned closer. You need to shake things up. Withdraw a little. Let him feel pressure. Amara hesitated. Isn't that manipulative? They laughed. Marriage is strategy, my dear. Those words stayed with her. Marriage is strategy. Not love. Not partnership. Strategy. And once that idea settled in her mind, everything began to shift further. That evening, Daniel came home earlier than usual. He had made a decision, a hopeful one. He walked in with a small smile. Amara, I've been thinking. She didn't respond, just kept scrolling. He continued anyway. I want us to start planning better. I don't want to keep waiting more while others are enjoying life. Daniel something bigger faded. Together. We will Amara enjoy life slowly. Just her expression unreadable. Recklessly, she repeated. Back. Yes, so now Daniel wanting said, a better life it may is take reckless, time, but that's not what I meant. Of time, Daniel. Then what did you mean? Her voice was calm. Daniel hesitated, cold. And in that hesitation, she found confirmation of her growing doubts. You see, she said quietly, even you don't believe in it. That's not true. Then prove it. How? Her eyes locked onto his. Change. Change. A simple word, but loaded with expectation. Because what she wanted wasn't just improvement. It was acceleration. And acceleration without foundation leads to collapse. Days turned into tension-filled routines. Conversations became arguments. Arguments became patterns. And patterns became distance. Daniel stopped sharing his thoughts because they were often dismissed. Amara stopped appreciating his efforts because they no longer met her expectations. The gap between them widened, quietly, consistently, dangerously. One night, the tension reached a breaking point. Dinner sat untouched on the table. The silence between them was suffocating. Finally, Amara spoke. I can't keep living like this. Daniel looked up slowly. Like what? Like this. Small life. Daniel's chest tightened. This small life is the best I can do right now. That's exactly the problem. Her words were calm, but merciless. Daniel clenched his jaw. I'm trying, Amara. Trying isn't enough. Silence. Then he asked the question he had been avoiding. What exactly do you want from me? Amara didn't hesitate. I want a man who can give me more. The words echoed in the room. Loud, final, irreversible. Daniel stared at her. Not with anger, but with something far heavier. Hurt, because in that moment, he realized something painful. She was no longer seeing him, only what he lacked. Pressure had done its work. Discontent had taken root. And love, the quiet, steady love that once filled their home, was now suffocating under expectations it could not meet. Daniel went to bed that night without speaking. But he didn't sleep. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking, replaying every moment, every sacrifice, every effort. And for the first time, He felt something shift inside him. Not anger, not resentment, but exhaustion. The kind that doesn't come from work, but from feeling unseen, unappreciated, unwanted. In another room, Amara lay awake too, but her thoughts were different. She wasn't thinking about what they had lost. She was thinking about what she believed she deserved. And in her mind, those two things were no longer the same. Pressure had changed everything, and neither of them fully understood the cost yet. But they were about to, because pressure does not just test relationships. It reveals them, and what it reveals is not always what we expect. Respect is fragile. Once it cracks, it rarely returns the same. Amara no longer spoke to Daniel with kindness. Every conversation turned into an argument. Every effort he made was dismissed. Even in front of the children, she no longer held back. "Your father doesn't know how to provide properly," she said one day. Daniel froze. The children looked confused. "Amara, please," he said quietly. But she continued, "Maybe one day you'll understand what a real man is." That night, Daniel sat alone in the living room long after everyone had gone to bed. The house was quiet, but his mind was loud. Where did everything go wrong? It happened on a night that seemed ordinary. Dinner was on the table. No one spoke. The tension was heavy. Then Amara dropped her fork. "I can't keep doing this," she said. Daniel looked up. "Doing what?" "This marriage." Silence. "I regret marrying you." The words echoed. "You don't love me." Daniel's chest tightened. "You are not man enough." And just like that, something inside him broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. He stood up. "I'm sorry you feel that way," he said. Then he walked away. The next morning felt different. He woke up early as usual. But this time, there was no peace in his eyes. He got dressed slowly, looked at his children as they slept, paused at the door, as if he wanted to say something. But he didn't. Then he left. Amara didn't notice. Or maybe she didn't care. The road was busy that morning. Cars moved fast. People rushed. Daniel drove quietly, but his mind was elsewhere. Her words replayed again and again. "I regret marrying you. You are not man enough." Then suddenly, a horn, flash, a crash. Everything went dark. Hours later, Amara's phone rang. "Hello? Is this Mrs. Daniel?" "Yes. Please come to City Hospital immediately." Her heart skipped. "What happened?" "Please just come." The line went dead. Fear replaced pride instantly. She rushed to the hospital, her hands trembling, her heart racing. "Where is my husband?" The doctor looked at her. Heavy eyes. "We're sorry. He didn't make it." The world stopped. Everything went silent. Amara collapsed. Tears poured uncontrollably. No, no, no. But reality does not negotiate. Daniel was gone. Forever. The women who advised her. Gone. No calls. No messages. No support. Just silence. Now it was only her, her children, and the consequences, standing beside his lifeless body. She whispered, "You were enough. I just didn't see it." But the man who deserved those words could no longer hear them. Sometimes we don't lose people because they were not good enough. We lose them because we listened to voices that did not build our home. And by the time we understand their value, it is already too late.